Welcome to the Raw Dogger Sportscast. I'm Sean Watson.
I'm Ryan Kessler.
How's it going, Ryan?
This is Mark Wade.
In spirit. No, you don't have a Thielen jersey on.
Oh, yeah. Skull. I might be there with him soon.
Right? I know normally talk about the Browns. We're not going to tonight. We're going to talk about the Browns. We apologize first off. We've been away for a couple weeks. We had some issues with some of our equipment, but we're getting it taken care of. We're kind of doing this. It's a little bit different view. So just kind of bear with us.
Yep.
But we're going to go ahead and start off with the Yankees Indians.
It's a good series.
It was a good series.
Good for a young team.
I guess it was reported the day of the game after. There was 2 postponements during the series.
Right.
It was reported that the Indians couldn't find a hotel to stay in, and they basically had to break apart the team into 3. And Francona eventually stayed in Yonkers, which is like really close to the stadium anyway. I mean, 2 rain delays in a 5-game series. I mean, that's not good.
Cleveland, New York. This time of year.
Well, and I mean, Francona kind of had the Yankees where he wanted them too. And I don't know if it was. I know a lot of the fix was kind of in. People were talking about, they wanted to give the Yankees bullpen another day's rest. Going to that game 5. I don't know.
I just think the Indians overachieved to even get to that series.
They did.
And you could tell with the at-bats they were getting in the series, even to get 6 runs was game 3. I mean, it was a lot. It was like 15 hits to get 6 runs.
Right.
I think the better team won the series.
Mm-hmm.
But we obviously have a bright future with a group of guys.
Right.
I mean, yeah, if they would have played, who knows if they would have played. It was supposed to be Sunday night, right? Or was it Monday night that they were supposed to play?
It was supposed to be, Monday night, I believe.
Yeah, because Nestor Cortez or whatever, their starter wouldn't have another day of rest.
Right. They were going to start Tayon.
Right.
So, I mean,
he's the guy who lost game 3, right?
I don't even know if he even pitched in the series yet.
I thought he came in.
Well, right, but he didn't start.
No, he didn't start.
So, but, of course, Cortez. Yeah, and then, so I guess my question is this. Was it a mistake by Francona to play Savali, who hadn't pitched for 15 days?
I wanted to see Bieber out there.
I did too. I mean, I think...
I get why he didn't want to. He probably thought, hey, you can get me 2 or 3 innings, try to keep it under 1 or 2, but then he comes out and just
it's terrible.
Pisses down his
And
leg.
I was actually listening out on the radio trying to hurry and get home.
Right.
But I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, that was too much to overcome.
Yeah, it was.
Because if it was, 1-0, 2-0 game early, you're still in it. And
I mean, there were some times we left some runners on the base paths for sure.
The whole series.
I mean,
they probably left 30 runners on base.
Well, and Ramirez, I mean, I would talk about underachievers. I think Ramirez definitely underachieved the series.
You heard he's had a torn ligament in his hand for half the year.
Yeah.
And you could tell in his swing that it wasn't right.
Right.
At least I could. It did seem like he had the same.
I mean, he left the bases loaded the one time there.
But Oscar Gonzalez, dude, looks clutch.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I'm really pumped about him.
You get more at-bats with him, I think he could be a 25-30 homer guy.
Right.
He's big, strong.
So what are the Indians away? I mean, I think they need, even if you go back to those 90s teams, the 2000s.
They're built like that. They just don't have the power.
Correct. So what do they need to do? Because remember, we brought like Matt Williams in.
Right.
Hafner. We already had Tomey.
Right.
But is that the piece we're missing? We're missing a couple veteran pieces, maybe.
There's a catcher out there that can hit it all.
Yeah.
Because just having a dead spot in your lineup, you have 2 of them with whoever's catching and Straw. Hopefully, Bo Naylor's the guy. But
you had Edges, and then you had Maley.
They both hit like 160.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be like even Yan Gomes when he played here. At least he hit 220, but he could run into one.
Well, Roberto did too. I mean, he was kind of clutching the one series.
Perez, yeah.
Perez, correct.
Yeah.
So,
But just to have the threat of being able to run into one. I mean, Austin Hedges played like 130 some games, had seven home runs.
Right.
And no one's afraid of that.
Well, I mean, the Indians had held the Yankees.
And he actually played pretty well in the series.
They held the Yankees before Game 5 to 3.7 runs per game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the Yankees were averaging about 5 for the season.
And really, our starting pitching didn't, other than Bieber's one start, really wasn't that good.
No.
It wasn't horrible.
Our bullpen is what did it for us.
Yeah. What kept them in every game.
The bullpen only allowed 2 runs on 9 hits and 34 strikeouts and 25 2/3 innings in the postseason.
Yeah, it's
going into
brilliant.
Game 5.
Brilliant, yeah.
You know, so, and I really, when you get Savali's out of the way, so we gave up, our bullpen gave up 2 in Game 5.
Well, in what, 9 innings?
Correct.
So,
yeah.
you can't.
No, you can't complain about that. You just had to get some offense going there. So.
But if they can get like another like veteran starter pitching. Yeah. Because I think, you got 1, 2, and you got a couple guys that are back end rotation that are solid, but I think you go into playoffs, you want to have 3 star pitchers.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what you get in a series like that, you're pretty much giving a game up.
Right.
Because even not Savali, but who's the other one?
Oh.
Lost Game 1 and 4. Who started Game 1?
Tristan?
No.
Or not Tristan.
I can't think of his name. I can see his face. His dad pitched in the league. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know.
But I mean, he's kind of guy. If he's your 4th pitcher in the rotation, he's not. He keeps around 3.5, 4 ERA.
I mean, I still can't get past the point. I can't get past not putting Bieber in there. That extra day's rest. I mean, they started.
He's had so many injury issues.
They started Cortez though on 3 days rest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you needed him to go out there and pitch 7 innings.
And if
go out there and give us 3.
And if you're Frank Kona and you're worried about not being able to start off the Houston series with Bieber, you got to get there first.
Right, I would have had McKenzie up there.
Something.
Go for a bullpen game in Game 2 or something.
Yeah, well, even the fans were talking about that. Why didn't Frank Kona kind of design this game as a bullpen game? Instead of starting Savali, I don't know. Everything's hindsight though.
Yeah.
Because if Savali came in and then he had basically 2 weeks rest in there.
Keep the Yankees to 5 runs.
Yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is if you, let's say he came in and he was lights out for 6-7 innings. I mean, then everybody would have been praising Frank Kona.
Yeah, he would have got manager.
We won the game, and then we would have started Bieber in Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Yankees are now down 0-2. Of course, I think it was a big ask of, Major League Baseball, how they had this set up, though. Yeah. It definitely gave Houston an advantage for us. There was 2 postponements in that 5-game series with the Indians.
Right. They should have backed that up a day.
They should at least, yeah.
Because they went from New York all the way to Houston.
Well, and then there was because the postponement, there was, Cleveland back to New York overnight, and then they had the hotel situation, and then there you go. So,
but it's baseball; they're used to playing day after day. But
yeah,
it's still fun. It definitely fucked.
But normally, when you have a road series, though, let's say you go do a road series on the West Coast, you'll hit Seattle, then you'll hit Anaheim, then you'll hit the A's, stuff like that. You don't go and then fly back to Cleveland, and then fly back out. Generally you don't.
But you can't complain. I mean, you're in the playoffs. You got to fucking do
you got to do what you got to do. I just think there was something probably Major League Baseball could have done.
Yeah, they should have. I think they should have pushed that back.
Not that I'm trying to push for the Yankees.
But the thing is the NLCS started what?
It started that night.
It started the night we played, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's hard to, because then you'd have to push back the World Series.
Yeah.
And if New York ends up winning, then it's even later. Then you're going into November.
Yeah.
So it's. Well, do you think they're going to go back? Come down to like 150 games?
They need to. I've been saying that for a year. For years. I mean, I think 140 is where you probably need to be.
Or was it before? It was 144.
Yeah, something like. They need to cut it back. Quite honestly, I think that they need to
start at the same time, and then you can.
I think they could just trim a month off each end of the season,
or 2 weeks.
You could almost make it a 100 game season.
Baseball, I don't know. There's
or 110. You could basically trim off.
I think 140, 144 would be fine, because then you could at least a week and a half at the end of the year, so you're playing in the middle of October in the World Series instead of the beginning of November.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have to make their money.
Oh, yeah, and that's why you're not going to see this.
Right.
I think the NBA probably should be trimmed down.
Yeah, because they don't give a shit.
Well,
the regular season doesn't.
And everybody's talking about, well, especially when you got some of these veteran players, but, then everybody's always talking about how Christmas Day is like the official kickoff for the NBA, but hell, it's October. We just started.
Right.
I mean, that's a long time.
Right.
So,
it's a long time. It's a lot of games. I mean, they've been playing 82 games for fucking...
Right.
What, 50 years now? 40 years?
Quite honestly, I don't really care about watching basketball till football's over. So now you're talking you into February.
Right.
And then the NBA's kind of lucky, but then March Madness starts up.
Yeah, and nobody really watches baseball that early in the year. No. And then by the time the NBA playoffs come around, now baseball started back up. So, I don't know. National League matchup, we talked about that a little bit. Of course, the Braves out, Mets out, Dodgers out. All the 100-plus win teams, right?
Yeah. I actually think the World Series, of course, the Yankees aren't showing it now, but I think that they'll probably get one away from Houston on the next game. They could sweep them, I suppose. But I think that this is the World Series. I don't think either one of those National League teams are going to beat either one of the two teams in the American League. That's just my
feeling. San Diego is loaded with talent.
They are. That's just my feeling, though.
Well, it's Houston's fucking title to win at this point.
Right.
They're just all... I don't get it. Do they pack that place during the season?
I don't know.
It's the last 10 years they've been...
I haven't looked at... Yeah.
Ever since they went into the American League.
Yeah.
Why did that even happen?
I don't know.
They were in the NL Central forever?
Yeah, well, and then... yes. Well, I think so, yeah, but because Milwaukee moved too, didn't they? Wasn't that the other franchise that moved?
If they did, it was before that.
Yeah, right. Right, it was.
Was Milwaukee in the American League?
Yeah. Yeah, they were in the American League at one time. And I don't know if it had to do with, when the Montreal Expos became the Nationals.
But they were still National League, right?
Right, and then you had the Rockies, which were an expansion franchise.
It was expansion.
So, that was the National League. Those are both National League teams, though. So I don't know.
I don't ever remember the Brewers being in the American League.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Brewers. I'd have to look at it.
It'd probably be before my time.
Yeah. All right. Well, the other thing is, we were talking about the Dodgers earlier in some of the podcasts. Nothing like going out in the first round, though. So that their manager, Dave Roberts, he's been under scrutiny the last few years anyway, but is that guy on the hot seat?
They won the World Series, 3 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's saving him.
Yeah, but that leash is probably getting pretty short.
Oh, I would say so.
Because they're paying more for their players than the Yankees.
Well, and I think I heard that somebody talking about this on the Major League Baseball Network too, was that Roberts is actually kind of an old school manager, but he's under the agreement that he basically gets dictated what he's going to do, what situation with the analytics from the front office, even during game time. Now, if I was the manager, I wouldn't like that at all.
No.
And I'm not going to do that.
What's the point in having the job?
Right. He's just a figurehead, basically.
Making money.
So if they got him in line and he's doing what they're saying, well, guess what? The analytics didn't work.
Right.
Analytics are okay, but...
Yeah, you got to have a gut decision.
Yeah. You have to have some gut in there, too. Analytics can't be the, end-all, be-all. You talk about... what's his name? The Chargers head coach there.
Right. None of this stuff.
Him going for it on fourth down all the time.
Yeah. He tried to give us that game.
Well, yeah, and I was about to get into that. Of course we
missed that week.
Let's just go ahead and get into the Browns right now. Of course we missed the Chargers week. Practically gifted us that one. Brissett with the terrible interception down inside on the second to last drive.
Still wasn't his fault that they lost that game. He put 28 points up. They should win.
No, it certainly didn't help. It also didn't help Cade York miss 2.
Yeah, he missed 2 field goals. If he made one of them, they would have been ahead.
Right. But them practically gifting us that one, after Brissett, then the defense actually held up.
Right.
Couldn't believe they went for it on fourth down.
Right.
And then here's some of the, and not to, most people are trying to stay away from Stefanski here. One of the things I don't understand is when you're starting on that next to last drive and you got a first down, and why do you call like a halfback counter with Kareem Hunt instead of just running like, a tackle, up the middle? Just trying to get it, because then he got tackled in the backfield. You remember that? He got tackled in the backfield, and then you lost that time, and then...
Well, the offenses had to be too perfect.
Yeah.
None of these offenses are going to, especially with, you got Jacoby Brissett, has literally done the best possible job one could think, even with last week's stinker.
Right.
That's going to happen, especially against Bill Belichick.
We kind of knew what Belichick was going to do, too.
Yeah.
We knew.
I still think they got off the run too early. But
yeah. We kind of knew Belichick was going to try to take away the run and make Jacoby Brissett
and
beat you with the run.
Stefanski's thinking in his head, this defense ain't going to fucking stop nobody, so I can't take 8 minutes off the clock every time we have the ball. It's nobody's fault to me besides Joe Woods and the fucking players on that defense.
Yep.
They ain't playing with any kind of fucking heart.
Right.
I just don't... How much they were bitching about the offense last year in the offseason for them to come out and play the way they are.
Right.
And there's no reason that they shouldn't be a fucking top 10 defense. At least.
Well, speaking of which, I got to give a shout out to our boy Nate Deaton. Started up a Fire Joe Woods account on TikTok. You need to go and check it out, folks. Yeah, it is fantastic. Here, we're going to show you a little clip here.
All right, Joe. It's 3rd and 1. We really need this stop. Please tell me you got something lined up. Good. Some good shit. Please tell me. All right, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1. We need to stop. I got you, coach. I got you. It's going to be so good. I promise. Watch this. All right, defense. 3rd and 1, we need to stop. Yeah, we got you, coach. We just need a half-decent play. Just send us a half-decent play. We got this. All right, I got you. I think you know what we're going with here. 3rd and 1. Deep zone, baby! Fuck! Hey, I just want to say, if this don't work out, not my fault.
But, it's going nuts. The other thing is to go ahead.
Before we go forward, would like for you guys, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Here on YouTube, we just got these shirts in.
Yes.
We have triple X, double X.
Yeah, we have triple X all the way down to mediums.
All the way down to mediums. What, $20 a pop?
Yeah, $20. Yep, $20. $6.95 to ship. Unless you're here locally, then we'll just bring it to you.
Right.
Of course, we also still have some of our Raw Doggers Coldy Holdies. Ryan, show them the back of that shirt too. Of course, it's got our slogan on the back. Go balls deep.
Right.
So you can follow us on all of our social media. You can see that. So we'll put a still picture of the shirt up there too, which we haven't.
I think there's an ability to actually put it up for sale on here. So
okay.
Might do that. But
go ahead.
And if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok,
yes,
we're on there. And we have some sponsors down below if you'd like to check them out. Who do we have this?
MyBookie.
MyBookie?
Yep.
We'd like to send thanks to MyBookie.
Yeah, I have the links built into to all of our social media platforms, YouTube, OneArm. You just go ahead and touch or click on the link for MyBookie and XBet. I think they're giving away something in the neighborhood of 200% payback bonus, rollover bonus with deposit up to $1,000.
For any of our degenerates out there.
Absolutely. Getting back to it here. Brissett, though. 45 pass attempts. Only 21 completions. The 21 for 45, that's not good. But the 45 pass attempts by Jacoby Brissett, to me, that's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
You can't have this guy throwing that ball that much.
No.
I mean, and the other thing is, too...
I don't want to see Watson throwing that 45 times.
I mean, Chubb was 56 yards on 12 carries. You know, so he was... They focused in on him, but...
I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, but, I mean, you have this stable of running backs, even past Kareem Hunt and Chubb.
Right.
To me, you have to... There has to be 30 touches a game to the running back position, doesn't there?
Yeah, but again, the defense isn't stopping anybody, so you can't...
Correct.
You can't run it every
And if you're playing... Right, and if you're playing from behind...
Yeah, and then that's what... They get fucked, because you can't trust your defense. You can't trust your defense to hold no field goal.
All right. So New England had more penalties.
Yeah.
Than we did.
They gave them every opportunity to get stops.
Of course, you know, a bunch of false start penalties.
Yeah.
In that game,
you had a rookie quarterback, third string quarterback.
There's two face mask penalties that weren't called.
Yeah, those were huge.
I mean, the one of Brissett especially. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was at the game. I thought the place going to come unglued.
Yeah, you can probably see
fans started throwing bottles on the field again.
Hell yeah!
I mean, it was terrible. I got to throw this story out there too. So in the fourth quarter, when Chubb started off and they ran him on, this is early in the fourth quarter.
And they did that sweep thing out of the shotgun, and he got like fucking 15 yards.
Yeah, something like that. Well, no, this was just a plain run. I think it was for 7 yards. And the crowd just went nuts. I mean, it sounded like somebody scored a touchdown. Like basically just rubbing it into the coaching staff's face. Like, yeah, this is probably what you should be doing. So, but that was funny. DPJ kind of broke out in this game, though. 4 for 74. Had that huge crucial catch.
On fourth down?
Yeah, I think he might have got away with a little bit of offensive shoving there.
40 yards down the field. He's good at that. He did that in that Cincy game where that game winner 2020. But and you're probably going to get to it, but that fucking onside kick, how did they overturn that?
Yes, and
I still have not seen a...
Well, there's a couple things. We can go with the onside kick. I wanted to bring up first, before that was the play before we did the onside kick, which I thought the 2-point conversion.
You got to kick that.
You have to kick that because then you're putting if you miss it, or if you miss getting 2 points like we did, you're still down 2 scores.
Right.
If you make it, then we're down 1, and we got 6 minutes and change left.
And I think I get why they wanted to know if they needed the ball back after that or not, because I think if they would have got it, they probably would have just kicked it off.
Correct.
But
I think it was still kind of gutsy to do it on.
And how the offense has been, it's not like they've been fucking fuming all day.
And then I was up there, and then it looked like we recovered it. Should have again. I don't know how it got. To me, there's no video evidence of anything that they showed. Of course, I was at the game, but even when I came on watching, that you could have the guy that was out of bounds touched that ball.
Right.
At least none of the views, unless they got secret views that we don't have.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, that was total. I know the game was 38-15, 37-15, but that was
closer than that.
Yeah, it was.
The end was just fucking
after that, the Browns had just given up.
Yeah,
they just given up.
Which is, I hate seeing that.
I do too. But
in the punt returner, like every time you get a little bit of hope that a punt returner or kick returner is any decent, they shit the bed like that.
Sure.
They need to get rid of Prefer's ass and Wood's ass.
Yep, I agree. People already talk about Prefer too. So, New England, Bailey Zappi, looking like Tom Brady incarnate. There, 309 yards. The guy had 118 rating. 2 touchdowns. And Ramondre Stevenson, 19 carries for 76 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That wasn't bad. They actually stopped the run pretty decently.
Yeah, he had the long run, though he had that long run. Yeah, in the second quarter for 31 yards.
3rd and 10, too.
Yeah. Which it's
their gap integrity, they have no wherewithal. What the hell's going on out there? I've never seen anything like it. And they've been in the same defense for 3 years. How can you be that dumb?
I don't know.
It's not like they have that many injuries.
Well, and I've been saying this too. It's either wrong scheme or it's lack of motivation.
I think it's all
or lack of discipline.
And
I think it's all 3, and that means it's the coaching. It's a coaching issue.
That's where it starts.
It's a coaching issue.
Yeah, but I don't know who they're gonna
bring in.
They ain't gonna bring anybody from the outside during the season.
No.
So I don't know. You're kind
of. Who do we have on the defensive side of the ball that could take Joe Woods' place?
Nobody that I would trust.
Right.
I mean, it might just be a jolt, though. Just another voice.
Right.
It's going to be the same defense.
Right.
They're not going to do a whole lot of schematic
remember when Hugh Jackson
change.
went out? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it was just a switch.
Right.
You know, that's really all it took. But
right.
So the only silver lining in all this is the fact that the Browns are now tied for last place. But they're only one game out of first because because Baltimore ended up losing. Mm-hmm. But I want to get to the Bengals Saints game. The Bengals end up winning.
Thought they were going to lose.
So they pulled a game. Yes. Burrow 28 for 37 for 300 yards, no picks. That's important. Had a 126 rating. Of course, the Saints, and I watched the game last night too against the Cardinals. The Saints defense is not the normal Saints defense. They got all kinds of injuries on that secondary. They were playing with a guy that came off the practice squad and a rookie last year as their corners. So because basically the Cardinals' offense has not been good, especially they're like dead last in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't know how they have every weapon.
They scored 42 last night, but the Red Rocket threw 2 pick sixes in a row too. I was watching it. So. But Jamar Chase just went off 7 for 132 for 2 touchdowns. Higgins had 10 targets, 6 for 47. Boyd 6 targets, 6 for 66. And then Joe beat my wife again, Mixon. 4 for 23 in the air and a touchdown. So hit her again, Joe.
Yeah. I think the Bengals are playing exactly the way I thought they would.
Right. We have to play the Saints too this year because the whole conference or the division's playing the AFC.
Yeah, we play
South.
Deshaun will play them.
Yeah, is that in that back half of the season? Yeah. Okay, back part of the season. Okay, good.
It's like I would love to hit 5 wins, but even 4.
Now watch
with our schedule.
Watch the Saints get fully healthy on defense.
Right. Oh, immediately. Well, and you see Teller's out this week, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's something I should have brought up.
We have good depth in the offense.
We do. We do.
Because Conklin's playing, so.
Yep. Dalton, the Red Rocket revenge game, 17 to 32, 162 and a touchdown. Of course, that's old news after last night. We kind of covered that, but Kamara had 19 for 99. So the Bengals defense, though, and I think this is key, and I haven't really heard anybody talk about this.
Right.
The Bengals defense gave up 228 yards on the ground. That's a 6.7 yard average to the Saints. Yes. Okay, so that's Ingram, that's Kamara, Taysom Hill, whoever they're handing the ball off to. So we know what we have to do against the Saints.
And the Bengals.
The Bengals. I'm sorry. The Bengals. That's what I mean. We know what we have to do against the Bengals.
But I hope we can do it against Baltimore.
Yeah. Of course, that game's this Sunday.
But they're out Marcus Peters and one of their defensive linemen, I think.
I'd rather Calais Campbell be out.
He was on the injured list, but I don't think he's going to miss. It'd be nice if he would.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah, we offensively you got to just use the same formula and don't get down by 2 scores. That's just the way it is. But the defense, Deion Jones is going to play this week.
Okay.
So hopefully that's a spark. They need a big win. I know even if they lose today and they win next week, you're still okay. But they need to grab these next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because it's there.
If you grab the next 2 weeks, we're gonna be.
You're 4-4. You're in first place. You're going into a bye week.
Yep.
You're gonna have Clowney. Clowney might play next week, but he'll be back after that. Then you have 3 more games, and Tampa's beatable, especially at home.
Yeah.
They need to start fucking better playing at home.
Well, they should be beatable. Hell, you go and lose to the Steelers.
Right.
Oh, God.
So.
Yeah.
It's big. Like I said, you can go 1-1 the next 2 weeks, but it'd be really big to win both of them. Because if you lose both of them, you might as well.
You're done.
Because you got to play Buffalo, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
All right, I want to move on to our special segment, the Crying Jordan segment. Ryan, what's your nominee for the week?
The big, beautiful elf in the middle of First Energy Stadium.
The Browns elf.
Going into a game that, for whatever reason, I thought we'd win.
Right.
And then just get absolutely fucking shithoused.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever pick the Browns to win against Bill Belichick ever again in my life.
Well, hopefully Bill Belichick doesn't have many more years of coaching.
Well, if fucking Bailey Zappi's the next fucking incarnation of
well,
Tom
that's
Brady,
true. That's
might
true.
be coaching until he's 96.
I mean, Zappi looked. They went to Green Bay there and won that game, didn't they?
Yeah,
or took it to overtime.
Yeah, I think
Zappi.
they won it.
I think they might have won that. I can't remember. I have to look that up.
Yeah, he was efficient.
Yeah. Zappi. Wow.
Well, I think they said in college he threw like 66 touchdowns his senior year. So he's got some talent, but good God, come on, dude. That's his second game. He was a third-string quarterback going into the year. That's a game where you should allow like 45 yards.
Yeah.
Like you should have pummeled them.
Yep, absolutely.
Because they don't have playmakers on the outside. Fucking Hunter Henry ate us up. Everybody ate us up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he had a
absolutely fucking unreal.
Mark's nominee this week is Robbie Anderson, who seems to look like Angelica from the Rugrats. And mine, I'm giving another shout out to one of our listeners, Matt Burgess, a huge Vols fan. My Crime Jordan nominee is Nick Saban.
Hell yeah.
Roll Cry!
Roll Cry!
The Vols taking them down. Of course, we'll get into that in our college segment a little bit, but yeah, definitely rearranged that AP standings a little bit. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, moving on here.
Well, didn't they take the fucking goal? Didn't they take one of the goalposts and throw it in the river?
They were actually marching it up. Yeah, they were marching it up the, which I'm going to get into that. They marched it almost to downtown Knoxville.
Well, Brant Painter fucking seen a guy. Brandon Painter was on one of our episodes. He was down in Nashville that day.
Yeah.
And he's seen the guy that was like up on top of it when it came down or something like that. It's like, hey man, check that out. And he's like, yep, that's you. We're definitely in ball country here.
So getting back, let me ask you this: what is up with the Jets, who are now 4-2? Jets 27, Packers 10.
Did I not tell you they're going to be better this year?
And once again, my under 5.5 wins for the Jets looking really, really bad.
Yeah.
Looking bad.
They might fucking finish second in that division. We'll see whatever Miami's doing right now.
Well, I heard Tua might come back this week.
We'll see how that all meshes back together.
Of course, you know how I feel about Tua.
Right.
But
they just have too much on that offense.
This is what Jacoby Brissett's stats need to look like. Maybe not this skimpy, but Wilson 10 for 18, no touchdowns, no picks. So the real story was the combination of Breece Hall and Michael Carter. Once again, ring a bell, running the ball, 2 stud running backs.
Right.
For the Jets.
Well, they also have a defense that plays decently.
Absolutely. 147 yards on 26 carries and a touchdown. Now, the Jets did have, I believe they did have
Did they have a special team score?
Yeah, they had a special team score in there. So, I mean, you kind of take that away. Now it's 21-10, but still you're holding Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers at 10 points.
Right.
So.
Do you think they're might be calling Odell here pretty soon?
Well, the word was yesterday was going off that first that Odell was going to go to the Chiefs. Then there was somebody sprung some stuff out on Twitter about Odell going to Minnesota.
That would be lethal.
And I actually texted somebody. I'm like, why would Odell go to Minnesota? Doesn't he remember George Floyd? I mean, if he's got sore knees now, wait till he meets the MPD.
Yeah. not so friendly Midwest.
Oh. Woo! Wait till he meets some of those nightsticks. He's gonna be.
He's gonna dye his hair back his natural color.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he might. Rodgers was 26 for 41, 246 touchdown. He had a lost fumble, no picks, but no. I think the biggest thing was here. So Robert Tonyan, the Tonka Truck Tonyan, 10 for 90 yards. So if your tight end's your leading receiver, that's usually a recipe for a disaster. Mark Andrews maybe and Kelsey being the exception to that rule.
Njoku right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying but even when Njoku's had big games, Amari Cooper's still been the top receiver.
Yeah, but yeah.
But I'm saying Tanya was the number one receiver for yardage.
Yeah, they need something. I've seen that thing that you shared too about Chase Claypool.
Yes.
Because he's not happy.
Now, Cowherd had that on there. He had that on his show the other day about Chase Claypool. Supposedly, there's wind going around that he could definitely go to Green Bay, and then they're going to get some picks.
Right.
So, I mean, when's the trade deadline? This next week, isn't it? Usually it's around Halloween.
Well, it's week 8 when it was a 16-game season, but I don't. Maybe
maybe it's a week later now. Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
It might just be a hard week 8.
Right. Both the teams had 278 yards, and
Not a lot.
Yeah, the time of possession was very close. I think the difference here also was the Packers were 1 for 4 on 4th down conversions.
That's the biggest thing in football right now.
They gave the Jets short fields.
Yeah, and I think too, like Stefanski needs to be like, let's just take some fucking points when we're there.
Yeah,
you have Deshaun out there, fucking go for it on 4th and 12. I don't give a shit, but
right.
I don't know. Unless it's 4th and 1, you can sneak it or you want to hand it off.
Well, that in the New England game, though, I mean, I kind of agreed with him going on that 4th down. You know, I know we were in that, all texting back and forth, but I mean, for him, just like you brought up, though, I mean, he hasn't been stopped on a quarterback sneak all season.
His whole career.
Yeah. And so he gets stuffed, the one. But I think that was still the right call.
Yeah, it was probably the right call.
So
I think he's got to be a little more cognizant about it sometimes, because then you don't even need to go for 2 there.
Right.
So.
But when something happens quarterback in the first quarter, it's hard to extrapolate that to the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Because you could be playing the game completely different.
Right.
And if you had those extra points.
Right.
Steelers 20, Bucks 18.
I just think it's the Buccaneers are just they're gonna be sluggish, and then they hit a bye week, and then they're gonna come out and play well.
And I don't know if the Bucks are playing this week, or if they have a bye this week, but man, they got to come back. I hate to be the team that comes back next week against the Bucks.
Right.
Wow, it could be really, really bad. So, I mean, was it just the aura of Antonio Brown hanging in Asper-Cream Stadium?
Asper-Cream Stadium, probably.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Trash Bisky came in. Kenny Pickoff, he had a 3rd quarter concussion. So Trash Bisky came in. He was pulling it out of his ass, 9 for 12. Touchdown, had 144. He had a 144 rating. He hit Claypool in the 3rd quarter for a touchdown. Big touchdown in there.
He's a veteran. He'll make plays, but he's just not the starter.
I mean, the Bucks gave up. They were still held the run game pretty good. Najee Harris pretty good, but that
offensive line in Pittsburgh fucking sucks.
Yeah, but they gave up 2 touchdowns passing, including one to Najee Harris out of the backfield. So Brady 25 of 40, 243, 1 touchdown to Fournette, but he couldn't get in the end zone with any of his wide receivers. So, and that kind of surprised me, even with that Pittsburgh D.
Talking about D.
Yeah. I mean, is that long schlong of Antonio Brown still looming in Brady's head when it comes to Giselle? I mean, is that...
Oh.
Talk about that. I mean, was he in the corner of the Asper-Cream Stadium there somewhere?
Just whipping it out?
Whipping it out? I mean, you would have seen it. I mean, you had to see it.
There would have been a shadow.
Didn't you see the one where he's at the Holiday Inn there? And like, good grief. Looked like a baby's arm.
Holding an apple.
Right. So, like I said before, the Steelers are now 2-4 in the division, tied with the Browns. But now also only 1 game out of first place. 1 game back.
Yeah, the division isn't very good.
2 teams 2-4, 2 teams 3-3.
I just don't think there's a lot of really good teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's the only one that I would
Kansas City's
crown. Well, Kansas City.
Kansas City's good.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Eagles either. I'm not sold on the Eagles yet.
They're the best that you can get in the NFC.
Yeah, maybe.
Them in Minnesota, and they beat the hell out of Minnesota.
Well, you still got the Giants there sitting at 5.
And the Giants, yeah.
But I mean, once again,
they're playing good football.
Yeah.
But their
offense is...
they're not an offensive
If Saquon Barkley goes down again, it's over.
Yeah.
They're done. So...
I mean, Danny Dimes has been playing horrible, but their coach has been smart enough not to let him throw the ball 30, 40 times.
Right, but he benefits from Saquon Barkley being in the game.
But that's any quarterback, especially earlier in your career. You need.
That was the next game I was going to cover anyway. Giants 24, Ravens 20. So
we needed that, man.
Yeah, Giants came back from 10 points down. Lamar Jackson 17 of 32 for 210, touchdown, but he had a pick and a fumble. Only a 71 rating. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go to the grave on this one, but Lamar Jackson's not my guy. That's just me. And so I just had to throw this out there, too. I've secretly subscribed to a Ravens fan page on Facebook. Okay, a big Ravens group. And I'll tell you what, they're not sold on Lamar. He's getting a lot of heat from those fans. Kind of like our heat to Joe Woods. The fans in Baltimore are not sold on Lamar.
What a bunch of spoiled brats.
Right? I know. I'm just saying.
If Baker Mayfield would have came in here, went to the playoffs his rookie year, won an MVP, 2 divisions, right. I don't care how many times he loses in the playoffs. We got a shot every year with this guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, if they want him out, fuck. If old Watson comes back and looks like shit,
right?
But no. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know if he wants to be there. Tell you the truth.
Well, I think
look at that offense. They haven't spent any money on the offense.
Every day that passes where he doesn't get that guaranteed contract that he wants.
Right.
I think
he came out hot, but now he's kind of
but I mean, it's kind of it divides him further away from that Baltimore franchise. I think. Mm-hmm. Of course, he has to play well because he's basically the one that shut down negotiations with the team.
Right.
Basically said when he was going into the last week before the first game that he's done talking contract. So basically, he's betting on himself.
Right.
And
hopefully
he doesn't get hurt.
Without him, they'd be horrible. Like last year, they lost every game he didn't start.
Right.
So that's going to be a decision they're going to have to make. Do they want to spend the money or not? And if they want to fucking franchise tag him, that's just a weird situation.
But that fumble that Lamar Jackson had, that was late in the game. That basically cost Baltimore the game.
Yeah.
In that game. So, I mean, Mark Andrews did Mark Andrews things. He was 7 for 106 and a touchdown. Once again, he was your leading receiver.
He's a beast.
Yeah, leading receiver for them. The Giants, is this team for real? You know, I asked about the Jets. Danny Dimes, 19 for 27. That's a pretty good percentage. 2 touchdowns, 112 rating. Their tight end Bellinger, he's been really, really good. Go ahead, pick him up on fantasy if you haven't. 5 for 38 and a touchdown. Barkley, 22 of 83. I mean, 22 for 83 on the ground in a touchdown. I mean, not really flashy numbers there. But, I mean, they're just playing smart football, just like you're saying. They're playing fundamental football. Dabble, he might be the coach of the year. That guy.
He was in Cleveland at one point.
Yeah. Well, who hasn't?
Well, I think didn't he interview for the job in 2020?
He might have.
I mean, I love Kevin, but God damn it, man.
Every week I'm seeing things, though, that he's doing. It's like, is he outsmarting himself? I don't know.
There's a part of that, but at the same time, dude, it's just these players that they have an expensive defense that is horrible. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not blaming anything on the defense with Stefanski, but you know, some of the play calls I saw against the Chargers, including that one I brought up with Kareem Hunt, going for two points this week when he should have just kicked the extra point. You know, now I'll grant him this, that onside kick, which should have been ours,
right?
And that might have been a completely different game because
down there, you could get a field goal.
Yeah, we go down and we score there, and now we go for 2 on that one. Then you got it tied. I mean,
you could have tied it
because he went for the 2 on the previous possession.
Right.
But I'm saying if he did that, if he kicked that extra point, we should have secured that.
Well, I don't think they would have kicked the extra point if we would have got that 2.
Oh, you don't think they would have kicked the onside kick? You mean?
Yeah.
If we got the 2.
There's too much time left.
No, you're probably right. You
don't want to give him a short field there.
But it definitely caught him off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect.
But he caught him off guard.
I can't remember who it was that dove in after that went out of bounds. Like, why the fuck are you even trying to touch the ball?
Right. Well, then
I don't think he did, but like, don't even make it close.
Well, then he went out. Yeah. Right. Because we had the
and
ball.
The thing is,
we
to
had
me,
the ball.
if you go out of bounds, you can't be the first person to touch
Correct.
it. And he wasn't the first person to touch
right.
it. So if there's anybody else out there that knows the rules more than that, that's what I've always been taught.
I need clarification.
Yeah, because you can go out of bounds, but you can't be the first person to touch the ball.
And that's with any receiver, any player. Correct.
Is there a different fucking rule with onside kicks? I don't think there is.
Yeah.
How the fuck do they overturn that?
I don't either.
And even that fucking Gene Steratore was there, and he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna overturn." I'm like, where the fuck are you seeing him actually touching it?
Right. Yeah. Once again, I wasn't seeing it. So
I don't know.
Somebody call in the show 419-610-0234. We got to get some callers in. Call in on the hotline too. We like to get some callers, put them in the show, do a little Q&A. What do you think?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we got to be able to be live to do that.
Yeah. No, we can just call and leave a message. We'll play it on air.
Okay.
We'll just play some Q&A on air. We'll just cover some stuff. Call in, please. Or drop.
Yeah, call in, do some questions. We'll answer some questions.
Yeah, we'll answer some questions when we do our next pod.
Yeah. I should have some time too. I want to start doing some all 22 tape. So if you guys want some, if you have any questions on what type of coverages they're trying to run,
right?
Different things offensively that you're seeing that you have any kind of questions for, fucking shoot them at us.
Right.
I have some football knowledge. I ain't Captain Gizmo or anything, but.
Well, who's running that defense better, you or Joe?
I bet I would. I bet every fucking penny he's worth.
I bet this beer can could do it better.
Yeah.
And it's almost empty.
I bet Stefanski could do it better. Just have him fucking call fucking defense too. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, that would be.
But he'd probably do a better job.
Yeah.
Even with both on his plate. I'd let fucking Van Pelt call offense plays for the rest of the year and have fucking Kevin call a defense.
Something, yeah, that'd be fine.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, Van Pelt, yeah, I'm with you on that. A couple other things that's happened here in the last day or two of the NFL. Of course, it happened. Carolina gets rid of Robbie Anderson, goes to the Cardinals. Didn't really have anything going last night. Of course,
he must not have that many years left on his deal because I don't understand how they're paying for everybody.
Well, they're talking about it today because, of course, the other big trade today happened was Christian McCaffrey went to the Niners for a second, third, and fourth for this coming draft, and then a fifth.
That's a lot for him.
Yeah, in 2024. Well, the asking price was two first, two
so
ones.
San Francisco won't have a goddamn draft pick till the 6th round this year. Yeah, they traded for Trey Lance 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
so they have basically no draft capital.
Well, they're definitely all in. So I mean, you got Jimmy G in there, you got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, let's say you go into the Super Bowl this year
with Jimmy G.
What are you doing with Trey Lance?
He's still got to be your guy.
Right. Because you paid too much for him.
What are you going to get back for him?
You're not. Because he's like damaged goods at this point. So you got to play him to even consider moving him. And if he plays that well, then you're not going to move him anyway.
And Jimmy G he didn't add a year to his contract, right? When they renegotiated.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
I don't think he did. So he's going to be. It's not like they can trade him for any assets.
Right. I just know that he restructured his contract.
Right.
To make it more team friendly.
Yeah, I don't think they added a year or anything. So.
But now you're going to have a backfield with Christian McCaffrey and Debo.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm actually pretty excited to watch.
Yeah.
I still think Trey Lance. He's young. You have to give him next year at least the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Because you gave up way too much to not.
So here's my question. So, of course, that happened before Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, but Matt Rule was fired by Robert Tepper,
right?
The Carolina owner. Are they just... Now, those guys both had contracts. McCaffrey's was a big contract.
Yeah. Well, he's the richest owner in the NFL, I think, isn't he?
He might be. I mean, he's a hedge fund owner.
Yeah, I think he's the richest owner in the NFL.
Shakan and with Jacksonville's up there, too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so are they blowing it up altogether? Or is he just trying to unload contracts? Anyway, so my question is, are they blowing it up? Did they unload those two massive contract.
Did I read somewhere that Baker Mayfield's going to have a decision on who the next coach is? Or was that just a joke?
I haven't heard that. That would be pretty dumb.
I'm like, he doesn't even have a fucking...
Can we call Tepper up and say, hey, Joe Woods is available? I mean, Hugh Jackson's just a phone call away over there at Grambling State.
Getting shithouse 48-0 every week.
Oh, God.
I think so. What else do they have left?
And here's my thing, too.
So, last year, they fucking traded for Gilmore because they thought they were in win-now mode when they started out 3-0. I mean, they got rid of the head coach. They're getting rid of CMC. They don't really have what Brian Burns is like. Would be their next probably highest paid player.
Well, then, so now the question is though, is if he is having a yard sale here, if you're the Browns, there's 2 players on that are still left. One of them's DJ Moore.
I'm not as worried about wide receiver right now.
And the other one though is J.C. Horn, the corner.
He's too young. I don't think they'll trade him.
I mean, I agree.
If we had a first-round pick left, maybe.
He's still under a rookie deal.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know what...
That would be legit. You'd have Newsome. Yeah, that'd be a lot.
I mean, J.C. Horn would be fantastic.
I would kind of say go get Brian Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And let fucking Clowney come back and play some 3-tech, some 5-tech.
Right. So, the other situation I kind of want to bring up, and this has kind of been... kind of in the background here, but Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Redskins,
and how much
his situation,
how little coverage this shit is getting.
Oh, it's not getting much at all. I mean, I had to dig down. There's just certain little snippets. The NFL doing what the NFL does, just
put a little bit out there.
Yeah, a little bit out there.
And then, what's his name? Fucking Rappaport will just kind of brush it off like nothing.
Right. Of course, he's on the dole.
Yeah.
He's on the take.
Well, and he can because that's where he gets
So last week, or the week before, Snyder finally parked his yacht, his mysterious yacht that nobody seemed to be able to find, even with, military intelligence.
Right.
Came out with a story stating that he was about to blow the NFL owners and Roger Goodell out of the water with a boatload, no pun intended, of dirty laundry. I mean, now
what's it even going to do?
He's threatening.
Is Congress going to do something about it?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you something that's, so now it's come out that Snyder has apparently hired private investigators to probe the other NFL owners and Goodell.
I like it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, good luck to you.
Right, good. I mean, he's putting a fucking target on his back.
You used to be rich.
Right.
I know he wants that. And the other thing is, he wants that. He's wanted that new stadium for the longest time. I mean, but he can't get the community. Of course, Washington, D.C.'s right there. Lobby is central.
Right.
I mean, you can't get the community to get behind it. And, the whole thing what pisses him off, too, I think, it's the fact that he thinks that all the NFL owners are in on this, trying to keep him from getting a new stadium because they want him out. When it came to, the Bahama Gate thing and all the front office stuff that was going on with the women, the Grudens.
Yeah, the Gruden thing happened.
Yeah. And
I thought they did that to Gruden to kind of shield him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm not as...
So now there's a news story. Apparently the attorney, not just Snyder, this was just out the other day, not just Snyder going after the NFL, but now supposedly these women, which were supposed to remain anonymous, kind of got, there was a hit list that was put out. And Snyder somehow got a hold of this. Now this prosecutor for these women might be going after the NFL now, trying to figure out how Snyder got a hold of this hit list of these women that have been blowing the whistle on Dan Snyder and the organization. So, I mean, you're talking about this. I mean, nobody's really talking about this. That's why we're talking about it. But this could get ugly.
Only thing is, I think it should get ugly.
Yeah.
But who's going to do anything about it?
Right.
Congress has to do something about it, but do they really want to? No. Everything else is going on. Who gives a fuck, about the NFL? Not that who gives a fuck about what happened to these women or anything, but
right.
Like, please, like there's so much that was we kind of got into it, a little bit of it with the Watson stuff. So much shit that these owners get away with that nobody gives a fuck about, and they're making billions of dollars every year,
right,
on these teams. And I would love to see some of the dirty laundry get shown out the line. Ain't like we're going to stop watching football.
Of course, Jerry Jones is one of the top guys on his hit list.
Right.
Jerry Jones has more power than probably any of the owners do. So, all right. Well, we're going to see how that pans out. We'll try to keep you updated on what goes on with Snyder and the.
I can't believe that hasn't come to any type of resolution.
Yeah.
Like if he's suspended or anything like that. They haven't done shit, have they?
No.
I didn't think so.
So, moving on to college football. Of course, we covered this a little bit. Big story of the weekend, Alabama getting beaten Knoxville by Tennessee on a last-second field goal. So, there was I saw this video on TikTok. Some kind of dive bar that was down in Knoxville. Peyton Manning and Morgan Wallen both celebrating down in Knoxville. Just fantastic.
The last time Tennessee was relevant?
Yeah.
No, I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Fans took the goalpost down in Vol Stadium or marching up to downtown Knoxville. I mean, just crazy. Crazy stuff. So, we got a little bit new look to the AP poll. Number 1 is Georgia, which I still am kind of arguing with that. 2 is Ohio State now. Number 3 is Tennessee, jumping Michigan after they beat Penn State. 4 is Michigan, 5 Clemson, and Alabama drops only to 6. So, what do you think?
I think it's right.
Yeah?
Just for strength of schedule. If Notre Dame wasn't as shitty, we should be in Notre Dame,
probably. But Georgia hasn't exactly been. Now,
well, they're in the SEC. They're going to get the edge.
So, the first weekend in November, though, Georgia-Tennessee play. So, that's going to make, you're going to find out right there.
Are they... Tennessee's on the other division, right?
I think Tennessee's in Georgia's division, I believe. Seems to be they're in the SEC East.
Georgia, Tennessee, and
Alabama's on the SEC West.
Okay.
So here's what really sucks about this. So let's say that Georgia beats Tennessee in that game. Mm-hmm. Georgia plays Alabama in the SEC championship and loses. And Alabama...
This is why we need a 12-team playoff.
I agree. We at least need 8. I'm sticking by 8, but we definitely need more than 4.
Yeah.
But think about that. Alabama's right back in it.
I mean, what else are you going to expect here?
Right.
Unless they lose in the SEC title game or they don't get to it.
But I can see this, for the last few years, it seems like SEC's trying to put 2 teams in there.
Yeah, every year it'll. But the thing is if Georgia goes in there and Tennessee's only losses to Georgia and then Georgia beats Alabama, I could see Georgia and Tennessee making it as
you
1 and 4.
You think Tennessee was
Who else are they going to put in there?
I don't know. Is there anybody...
Clemson? I mean, who the fuck are they?
Texas? Are we talking like Big 12 here? Pac-10, USC?
Texas would make sense.
Huh? I suppose. I mean...
But as it stands right now, Tennessee keeps winning. If they would lose close to Georgia...
Yeah.
How can you keep them out?
I mean, Alabama should have lost to Texas, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only...
They would definitely be out of it.
That's the only Big 12 school I would even think about.
Right. Because it certainly isn't Oklahoma.
No, absolutely not.
So...
And USC lost, too, didn't they?
Yeah, I think USC just lost recently, too.
That was the only other team that I could think
UCLA?
If they made a run.
UCLA's kind of up in there. They're doing their thing. I think they've cracked the top 10 now.
Who did USC lose to? Was it UCLA?
Did they lose? I'd have to look at the AP top 12 or top 10. I thought UCLA was up in there now, unless they lost.
Or USC lost to Utah about 1.
Utah, okay.
So top 10. Ole Miss is up there. UCLA's 9, yeah.
Yeah. Are they undefeated?
Mm-hmm.
With Chip Kelly.
Fucking Chip Kelly. He's a pretty decent college coach.
I'd almost have to make the argument that Pac-10 winner would, if it's UCLA.
If they're undefeated, that's hard. That's a hard...
they're still going to have to play USC. Usually that's the last game of the season for them.
That's why I was like, I didn't think they would have played already, but...
Could one-loss USC get in, maybe? If they beat UCLA going undefeated in that game?
I think if they depends on where they're positioned before that.
Quite honestly, you know what, and not to overlook Penn State, because we have to go to Penn State here in a couple weeks, but quite honestly, what I'd love to see is for Ohio State and Michigan to be 1-2 before we go into that game.
Mm-hmm. Be a close game. Maybe they both get in.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the one thing that sucks about, and I get why they did it. They put Michigan and Ohio State in the same division.
Yeah.
Is because if they both would make the Big Ten title game, then you could probably see both of them making it. You know what I mean? Maybe. But if Michigan's 11-1, how are you going to keep them out? And yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the CFP does this year. But I just can't wait till they expand the playoff. I think 4 teams is fucking stupid.
Well, and I saw where they're dragging their feet on the date of that again. I saw an article about that.
Probably going to be like 2025 or something.
Who knows? We might be dead. Joe Woods might get a head coaching job. So Ohio State was on a bye this last week. They host Iowa in the shoe this Saturday. They're favored by 29. I looked today. It's 30. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is my recommendation to you, being the degenerate that I am. You need to look under your couches, smash your piggy banks, and go ahead and grab our link for MyBookie or XBet on our YouTube channel and swallow those points, because that's way too low.
That offense in Iowa
is terrible.
Could probably lose to Toledo Central Catholic.
Yeah. I mean,
high school.
I'm going to throw this out there, a little bit of pre-over-under here. Will Iowa over-under score 6 points this Saturday against Iowa State?
Under.
Yeah.
I don't even see if we put our backups, if their starters are in for...
Their offense is that bad.
Well, the one, it was like they lost... Didn't they get a safety or something, and they kept losing yards and kick a field goal?
And Iowa's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll give them that, but
man, they haven't faced an offense like this.
No, that's usually what happens every year with the Iowa defense. They play Indiana, Illinois, Rutgers. They may play Michigan close.
Right.
Then they play Ohio State and they give up 34.
Right.
So, I mean, this year I see probably more like 48.
I'm throwing it on that. I swallow, and I rarely do that with Ohio State. Swallow points.
I'd see 48-3, maybe 48-6 if there's 2 field goals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the over/under, but just the actual 30-point. The Ohio State has to swallow here.
Yeah,
I would definitely get on that.
Yeah.
So grab that link at MyBookie. Grab it on our YouTube channel. Okay. Down to our last segment here, kind of our signature segment. Over, under.
Over, under.
And this week we're covering our final division here, the AFC North. Saving the best for last. So, the Baltimore Ravens, over or under 1 Pro Bowl free agent wide receiver that signs with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore?
Under.
Under for his career. Never doing it. I agree. It's under. It would have happened.
I think unless they get a different offensive coordinator, they want to change their philosophy.
They're not going to.
They're going to have to be Pittsburgh and draft talent, which they haven't been very good at.
Well, there's no way that.
And Bateman's okay, but
yeah, Duvernay.
Yeah,
but I mean Mark. Not Mark Jackson. Mark Andrews. Yeah, Mark Jackson. He's flew in from the NBA TNT table or whatever. Andrews, yeah, I mean, he's like their number 1, but I'm like, man, you need an explosive guy. I mean, you just need that guy. But the problem is, the receiver, what I'm saying is, the receivers know Lamar, he had 2 big bad overthrows the week before that were deep, and they should have been caught, and one of them should have been a touchdown, and he couldn't make the throw. So once again,
yeah, you're not going to accumulate there. I mean, only way I see that happening if it's somebody that's like 33, like a Julio Jones who just wants to go try to win a title.
Right.
But I don't think Baltimore's defense is what it usually is. So
no, definitely not. Bengals, over under 5 more seasons before the Brown family will get a new stadium in Cincinnati sponsored by Hormel Chili. I mean, wouldn't that be the ultimate slap in the face to the Queen City? He goes outside of Skyline or Golden Star and just gets ConAgra to sponsor the stadium.
It might have to be under because they won't be able to pay for fucking Joe Burrow.
Right?
They're going to need some cash flow.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't know if fucking Skyline's going to be the company to be able to do that.
Hormel can do it, though.
Hormel
could probably do it.
Or Chunkies or something.
Then what do you do with the old stadium, though? You just fill it in with chili?
Burn it down and piss on the ashes.
It's almost there.
Right. Well, it's almost at ground level.
It smells like piss. Because there's only like 2 bathrooms in the whole fucking stadium.
Piss and chili.
So, the Steelers, over under 6 fingers that it takes for Kenny Pickoff to throw a spiral.
Can I push?
I mean,
I think 6 is the right.
Yeah, he can just kind of
maybe 7. I'll go over. I'll go over.
Right.
Especially without 2 gloves on. He might need both of them though.
You might.
Long snap it.
And finally, Browns over under 4 more games before Joe Woods finally gets fired.
Well, my wish is under.
Under.
But
so they have Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Bucks, and the Bills.
Unless they put up
coming up.
Unless they give up like a 50 spot to somebody, I don't see them firing him before the end of the year. Because I don't. Who else are you gonna elevate? They don't have a. On offense you could elevate fucking Callahan, but defense you can't.
I don't know. I think they should just.
Somebody.
Like when they break that, they're doing the new thing at the Brown Stadium, First Energy Stadium this year, where they have a guy breaking the guitar.
They should hit it over Joe Woods' head.
Well, they should just break it open. It'll be like a fortune cookie, and it'll be like your new defensive coordinator is, and they'll put it up on the screen.
Row 18. Yeah.
Right. Or it could be like the juggling helmets up on the Jumbotron.
Right.
You pick the right one. It tells you you get to be defensive coordinator for the game.
That would be great. Sign me up.
Sign me up. All right, Ryan, anything else?
I don't think so, brother.
All right. Okay, once again, go ahead and follow us on all our social media platforms. YouTube.
Hit that like and subscribe.
Yep. Call in.
Hit that notification bell.
Call in, 419-610-0234. Drop in the YouTube comments, out on Twitter. We'll definitely try to use your material here on the podcast. And remember, we got our new Raw Dogger shirts. Go balls deep, right on the back. Deep. So, all right. Raw Doggers over and out.
Over and out.